Hello there, YouTube. This is Mr. Gibson Guy. Thanks for coming by and visiting the channel today. A couple of weeks ago, I did my first video impressions of my Contax 139Q, which I just gotten in the mail, and it was just sort of an introductory thing. And the main idea with the Contax is that this is a bargain. It is a real desirable, high quality, classic single lens reflex camera with a good name on it. And the problem was that it had one real big downfall, and that was when they came out with these cameras. They used this stuff here. This was the skin that they put on the camera, and it deteriorated very quickly and made a really nice, beautiful looking camera really ugly real fast. And not only that, but these cameras also not only really nice, but they also came with originally with the Carl Zeiss T-Star lenses, which are very desirable and cost a lot of money, and they're very popular with filmmakers these days. People who think that they are filmmakers, or they are filmmakers, or content creators, or whatever, and they like to use their high definition movie cameras, modern day digital cameras, with adopted Carl Zeiss planar lenses on it, T-Star lenses. And so these cameras were floating around with these Carl Zeiss T-Star lenses, and they were, outdated and stuff like that when kind of film has kind of gone out before it had the resurgence that it's had now. And so everybody was stripping off any T-Star lenses they had on their Contax cameras and selling them to filmmakers because they were paying premium prices for them. So I got another. This is a 200 millimeter f4 Carl Zeiss T-Star. This one, show you there, it's lens made in Japan. And this one, I just got this the other day. I haven't shot it yet, but you can see this is a lens made in West Germany. That's West Germany, meaning before reunification, when there was a West Germany and an East Germany. And we'll take a look at that in another video. But for now, I promised that I would do for you a video on how you can pretty easily, replace the skin that is all rotted out on a Contax camera. Because you can pick up a Contax 139 that, other than the skin, is absolutely perfect for about 40 or 50 bucks, which is a tremendous deal. A good deal more if you're going to pay if it includes the lens, but you could use Yashica lenses in addition. But I got this one with the Carl Zeiss 50 millimeter f1.7, which has got the red T-Star on it. So this is a very desirable lens. So is this other Contax, and I'll probably get a couple more of them too, but they're not cheap. But the camera is great on it. So I'm going to take you through what I've already stripped everything here. You can see it's stripped down to the bare paint or black chrome or whatever they call it. But it's a bit of a job. It's not technically complex, not like you got to take little tiny screws apart and put them back together again. Hope they don't fall on the floor and disappear forever. But this old sticky stuff is kind of a pain to deal with. So I didn't want to put that on a video because it might go for an hour of removing it. But I went through the whole process, and then I thought, well, I'm going to make a video of putting this new skin back on, because that should be a fairly easy operation. and he moved pretty quickly. But I wanted to go through the learning process for doing the removal like this. This is just some of the skins. There was more of them. That's what stuck around. First of all, you're going to need something small, light, and sharp that you can get the skin loose in the corners so you can start to peel it off. You'll use this knife a lot for stuff. The next thing is that when you are going to discover when you start to remove it that there are two layers. The top layer is this canvasy imitation leather, which is flaking into a billion pieces right here. That's since it's been taken off, but it was already bad. And underneath that, when you get the skin off, there's going to be a layer of glue that's on all this stuff. And getting that stuff off is going to be a bigger challenge than taking off the skin. Taking off the skin is pretty easy. And if you get the hang of it, you're not going to do it on the first one, but if you get the hang of it, I did this one first, which is the mistake. This should be done last every time. Start with this one. This is as you hold the camera, the right side, this is the left side. Start with this one because it's this. It's the simplest one. This one is this, and this is much more complicated. This one here is the back, and it just has this one piece that connects the two ends of it. But don't start with this one because this is the big challenge. Learn how to do it on this one. If you get the knife underneath just right and you start pulling away with it, you can get the skin with the glue. Carefully peel it back and you'll be 90% of the way there if you just do that. But that glue is going to want to stick. You have to do it so that the glue peels off with the skin, because all this glue here, even though this has been on a camera for 45 years, when you peel that skin off, you're going to see that the glue is still wet and tacky and still sticky. And it's not going to go away. What happens is you're finally exposing it after 45 years of being under the skin. You're exposing it to the air. And in a couple of minutes, it's going to dry hard as a rock and be really difficult to move. So if you start with this one and then go to the back and start with this one and peel it all off and then get to this one, you'll be pretty good by the time you do this, and hopefully you'll be able to peel it off with the glue in the first try. But for the glue that's left, because there will be glue left, you can scrape and rub for a long time, but what you really need is this stuff. I actually had this. I'm not going to go into why, but let's just say that super glue and cameras never mix. It's not a good idea to get super glue anywhere around your camera. But if you do, you're going to need some super glue remover like this goof off stuff. And it looks like lighter fluid when it comes out of this thing. It's clear and it doesn't hurt anything, but it melts glue. Now the problem with the melted glue is that after you melt it, you say, oh, I got it all nice and smooth, and then in a matter of 30 seconds, it's going to dry again, and you're going to have a whole, instead of just parts of it glue, all the glue spread around very thin. So what you need to do is you need to take a paper towel and cut it into several strips and fold them up and make patches, and have some alcohol ready, isopropyl alcohol, or some hydrogen peroxide. Maybe you could use water. I don't know. I didn't use water. I used these other things. Have those ready. So as soon as you wipe off this with your goof off super glue remover, immediately you can pick up your other swab, your other patch that you have with alcohol on it, and rub all that glue off to that before it dries. You're going to have to move quick because it's going to dry in a matter of seconds, and you got to get it removed, or you're going to be putting more goof off on it and taking more off of it. I spent an hour on this particular piece, and this piece and the back I spent about 2 or 3 minutes on. So once you get the hang of it, you can really get that off. But at first, you're going to get some glue separation. So that's what you got to do that. So I wanted to give you that, and then I'm going to go through installing a piece. See how this goes for the first one. Now, I have not installed any of them. I haven't taken any of them off yet. There's that. I'm going to put this on this left side. I'm going to put some isopropyl alcohol on this. Of course, it's going to evaporate real quickly. That's why you use it. All around there so that I get all of that part. And then, while it's wet, boy, it's sticky. But with the alcohol on it, you can move this around a little bit so you get it just where you want it. Also, while I'm doing this, I took the rings off, the strap rings, to do this. I'm going to hold this in place so that it dries. Now that went really easy. This is nice finishing. Yeah. It'll take a few minutes for it to dry, and I want to work it in while it's drying so I don't get any bubbles under it. I've seen a number of people that have done these, and usually they look okay, but sometimes they get bubbles in them. It's because you got to work it in. Now, the reason I use the isopropyl alcohol is that it evaporates faster, which means it lets the glue harden faster, so that this doesn't take as long. If you put water on it, it's going to take longer to evaporate, and it's going to be wet longer. I can see that it wants the ends to pop off, so I got to hold them in place while they dry. But that is the way that it goes on. See, every time I move my finger, it kind of lifts up just a little bit here. So I'm going to hold that down. So this is going to be an operation for drying, but you can see how it turned out. That's how it's supposed to look. So this camera is going to look brand new instead of looking like this, with this stuff all completely dried. So I'm going to leave you with this while I dry this. You don't need to sit and watch while I do that. And then I'll do the back, and I'll do the right side. But this is this shows you how it's done, as much as you need to see, and you can go from there. I think I told you all the secrets that I learned about it, and I'll finish this up on my own time, and you can decide if you would like to get a Contax 137Q or a 139Q or an RTS. All of these things are available, and this reskin kit generally goes for under 20 bucks, and maybe even with shipping. So I already have another. It took me a while to get it, but I already have another one on order because I'm planning on putting this camera up for sale and buying another project one and doing this all over again. But this is a beautiful camera. These lenses are supposed to be really superb lenses, and really turn out some great pictures with these. But this is something else you might want to consider if you want something kind of different in 35mm film manual focus photography. All right, so tell me what your experience is if you want to get one of these and try putting it together. They're really great cameras. I know you'll love it, and this is not that complex of a task. All right, so until the next time, this is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I'm out of here.